Сейчас наш последний доклад, и его будет читать Николас Кальдерон. Это технологический евангелист компании Voximplant в регионе стран Латинской Америки. И, соответственно, его презентация будет о том, как правильно развивать бизнес в Южной Америке. Встречаем Николаса.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. This is the first time I came to your country. I have to say, it's beautiful so far. I would like to get to know this country better. Today, I'm going to talk about how to expand your business to LATAM the right way. And basically, these tips or this methodology I will share with you, you can use it in other geographies. So I would like to know here if there is someone or their company is looking forward expanding their business to another region different to Russia. Can you raise your hand to get to know you if you want to expand your business? Okay, I can see some of you. Great. I hope this talk will give you great value. So let's get started. What opportunities do we have in LATAM? Latin America is a place of 630 million people. So that's 10% of the population. And it's a lot of people that speaks almost the same language. There are only two languages in Latin America, mainly. It's Spanish and Portuguese. Portuguese is only for Brazil, but Brazil is huge. So something very important about Latin America is that it has come with a lot of change recently. And the first opportunity I would like to talk about is about the middle class increasing in Latin America. What does this mean? If the middle class is able to get more money, they will be able to buy more things. They will be able to buy more goods. So what this means for your business is that there is a growing market in Latin America since the 80s. This graph show you the evolution of middle class. So this is the starting point, because if we have more money, it's better for our business. That's right. That's the idea, to expand in your business, to get more money from other regions. Okay, in this map, I'm showing you what is e-commerce landscape in Latin America. Why? Because this middle class is buying. Where are these people buying? They are buying online. And why are they buying online goods? Latin Americans are addicted to social media. We have the higher rates of time spent in social media, so we get a lot of advertising. And it's very difficult to move in Latin America. We have bad transportation, and you don't want to go in the traffic. So e-commerce is a great solution for Latin Americans. And Brazil is actually leader in e-commerce market globally. In the top 10 e-commerce globally, you can find like 3 Brazilian companies. So that's a big insight for you, because there is a lot of people in Brazil, and there is a lot of money there that is not being spent on your company, on your product or service. So I would like to show you, the big one, green, is Brazil with 42%. Then we go with Mexico in the top. Then it's Argentina in the south. Then Chile with 9%. And Colombia with 5%. Those will be the first markets you want to reach, or you want to touch, you want to study when you're crafting your LATAM expansion campaign. Okay, what other opportunity do we have in LATAM? The world is looking at LATAM. There is a lot of investment going since a couple of years ago. You can see 2017 big increase in the amount of money that is being invested in Latin America, and the trend continues. What does this say to us is that there is a big opportunity and there is less competition in these markets because the market is new, the market is growing, people want to buy more things, new needs are being created and generated by new companies and disruptive business. And this trend is following that when you have less competition, also with less regulations in the government, you're able to tackle certain opportunities inside your core of the business, and this will allow you to be market leader in short time. And you can be a market leader or the market king, spending very much little to what it will cost you to be a market leader in Europe. So your dollars spent in Latin America might be worthy of some good leads. This is the first challenge we have when we're thinking about going to a LATAM market. And it's that only 50% of people in Latin America has a bank account. And that is like, how the hell is Latin America leader in e-commerce if no one has a bank account? Well, actually, it's higher for Brazil. 80% of population has a bank account. But this takes us to the next insight for this challenge, and is that people in Latin America are very used to use cash payment methods. Like senior people, they get money from their kids, they send money to their families or receive money. They are used to this user interface. So it's easy for them, for seniors, to go online and actually buy, and they have 3 days, and they can buy, they can pay in a physical place. So as you can see here, there is a bunch of services in each country that allow people to just go with their cash and pay for the goods that they are buying online. These cash payment methods can be up to 30% of the total purchases in an e-commerce. So if you want to go to LATAM, it's very, very important that you connect to these cash payment services. What other challenge we have in Latin America? Also related with payments, we have a lot of fraud. So the bigger the market is, the most fraudsters will attract. And it's the same case for Latin America. Actually, if it's more red, you get more fraud by application installation. And you can see a big red spot in Brazil, also in Colombia and Mexico. Actually, Colombia is very low for the amount of fraudsters it has. I'm from Colombia. And it's very important that in order to avoid fraud happening in your launch budget, the launch of your company budget, you want to take extra care of the payments that you're going to allow in your application, in your website, your e-commerce. Why? Because fraudsters will be there to tackle your new business because they will know that you're starting operation and you might not have everything just finished or done on security. So my advice for you is go ahead and hire a security company or get a software as a service, artificial intelligence service to get identification of these fraudsters to avoid losing money. It's better to invest in payment security systems that will be good in the long run, even though they might be expensive, than actually give that money away to fraudsters. So that is very important that you keep it in mind. Now, next challenge, logistics infrastructure it's very, very difficult in Latin America to get tracking of a good you are delivering, or transportation is heavy, the delivery times are not met, and you have to deal with this when you're selling something in Latin America. If they are goods, you will have to deal with this because it's physical goods. So this image, what it's showing you is the amount of dollars that you have per sector in Latin America, talking about startups. And this big one, blue part of this graph, shows that logistics and distribution is a place where there are more dollars in this sector, followed by fintech. And this fintech effect is related to the payment and to the bankarization of the people. Why? In Brazil, for example, it was very hard to get a bank account. But new banks, or let's say like online banking, is changing the way people is buying and actually getting to the financial system in Latin America. The things that are happening in Europe about banks not having offices, it's happening already in Brazil. So we're giving like the big jump to that. And millennials are getting used for this. And millennials are not even getting bank accounts. They are just using fintech services that allows them to buy online, to pay for their music, to pay for their games, and whatever they use. So that is an important trend, because next segment here is transportation. Transportation, it's something very complicated in Latin America. We see last mile delivery being super successful because of these problems of infrastructure, of traffic, of security. So there is a lot of opportunities as well. This is a challenge, but if your company solves these issues, it's an opportunity for you to tackle. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. So maybe you got a little bit disappointed because I came here to tell you, I will show you how to expand, but I'm talking only about problems. But you have to know that if you're able to tackle with these two languages, these 10% of the population, you will have good income for your business. And what I'm going to share with you, it's my methodology on how I would approach this without spending that much money. Tip number 1, test your market before getting an office and hiring a country manager. That's what most companies do. They just decide they want to expand, they want to grow, they want to get more users. So yes, we're going to go here, 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 here. I'm going to get a country manager and, let's start the business. I would do it differently, and it's this way. Take your marketing team or hire someone and make some research about the first countries you would like to go. Let's say you want to go to Brazil, Mexico, and Argentina, or Chile, the biggest countries, talking about market. You want to research the pain points of the people, your ideal customers there. And then you want to, with these insights, you will craft your message to deliver a message to these people in Latin America. You cannot just take your message for Europe and just throw it to Latin America, because you will be spending money, you will be wasting money and a lot of money. So it's better to do some research, craft a message, and deliver a digital marketing campaign. What this will help you, this digital campaign has to have two things at least: a landing page, a well-crafted landing page where the people can sign up for your product or business or service. And you want to have Google Ads. This is very important. Google is very used as search engine in Latin America. And Google Ads is an easy, non-expensive way to test your market. You can do a lot of experiments, and it's very simple to use. With Google Ads, that's for B2C and B2B, works very well. But if you're in the B2B space, you would like to have LinkedIn campaigns, you have Twitter, we have Waze, for transportation advertising. It depends on the core of your business. So after you do this marketing campaign, you take the insights, you take the contacts that were generated, and you will study. It takes at least 3 months of this digital campaign, so your team can, get it right. You won't get good leads on the first week. So it's very important that after you get these contacts, you ask yourself, hey, it's a good opportunity to go to LATAM. Could I make my business bloom in this market? Because I would say that the world is very focused on growth more than revenue. My message here is think about revenue, and if you don't see a good market fit, change your message or craft your product a little bit and supply or fix the problems, that the pain points that the people in Latin America has. So this takes us to the second tip, and it's about your partners, because Brazil and Mexico are highly complex markets. These markets, each country in Latin America has different governments, different laws, different taxes. Everything is different in each country. So you want to have several partners, not just one. I say don't sign exclusivity, because if you only have one reseller or one distributor, this only distributor will not have encouraging any competition to sell your product. But if you have several, they will compete each other, to take the most of the market. So that is beneficial for your business. Also, a local partner will help you with taxes, will help you with governments, will help you avoid fines, and because Brazil is very good at putting fines on companies. And actually, taxes, and I said Brazil is very complicated. You have to associate with a Brazilian in order to create a company in Brazil. So that is important for you to know, because many of you might be thinking about going directly to Brazil. You have to wait a little bit. And I will recommend you to, before doing that, test the market in any Spanish country like Colombia, Argentina, or Chile, that you can create a company very fast and you can start, making checks for locals. That's like the issue with the governments and the taxes. You want to comply with everything. So get many local partners. They will help you as well fix your language, and they will allow you to cover better any geography in any country, because every region in each country in Latin America is very different culturally. So these partners will help you craft your message. They will give you feedback, and they surely will already have clients, they will have customers, and they will have a reputation that is good for you, because you will be new in the region and you got to get to the people to know you. Third tip is about the language. And here the local partners are super important. Why? Because even though all the countries that are not Brazil speak Spanish, it's not the same Spanish in Mexico than the Spanish in Argentina. Actually, it's very different, but it's the same Spanish. So my advice for you is not create exact message per country in this first campaign. Start with the neutral Spanish campaigns. This will give you a hint about which country is working better for your product or service. And when you identify these countries, then you can craft a specific message per each country. So take care of the language, because you might think that maybe Argentina is not a good place to launch your product or service. But it might be that in the testing digital campaign that we created, we used a bad language, and that will create bad response of the people that are watching your ads. So you want to be very careful and talk to your local partners in order to review this language part of the campaigns, the landing pages, the brochures, anything you are doing, to make sure everybody in the region can understand what you are selling. I'm going to talk about 2 success cases that I really like the approach that they have had in Latin America. And first is Bitrix24, Russian company. I really like their product. And what I like about their strategy is that they have tons of videos. They have a lot of digital marketing strategies, and they are always testing a lot of different things, types of videos, different pipelines and automations, and they are spending big budget on advertising. But they are doing something very special, is that they have a different pricing structure that makes it very appealing for small businesses in Latin America, because actually they are offering full features that competitors already have. They are positioned with big companies, and they are giving them the same features for a fraction of the price. So this could be a good strategy for you, because you can change your pricing structure and make it more appealing for Latin Americans. If they start, with low payments, it will be easy for people to jump in and test your product. And after you get this customer's heart, they will start paying more, because they will know that your product, your service will solve their problems. This is what we are talking about. Success case number 2, InDriver, also Russian application. InDriver don't have any advertising. I have never seen advertising in Latin America. If there is someone from InDriver here, I would like to talk to you. InDriver has a very different approach, because InDriver is a disruptive business. It's different than Didi, Uber, and the others, because the business model is different, and this disruption makes them very appealing for the relationships that we have in Latin America. So their growth, it's been based on organic, on recommendations of drivers and recommendations of the people that are using the service. So if you have a disruptive product, you might like to check how will that solve the pain points of the people in Latin America, and craft the message and do the advice number 1. So I want to leave you guys with this conclusion, and is, if you are able to find a problem in Latin America, there are many. I already talked to you about some of them, in transportation, in finance, so fintechs have great opportunity. Last mile delivery is also very popular. If you find a problem and fix it, you will have your money, because these problems hurt the people. It's hard to get in transportation, security, a lot of things that are under optimal. If you're able to solve any of these pain points, you will success and your business will bloom in Latin America. So I hope these tips will help you with your launch campaign. I would love to answer your questions about Latin American market afterwards, and thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye.
Николас Кальдерон из Voximplant. Друзья, сейчас у нас небольшой технический перерыв, и уже в 17:10 начнется дискуссионная панель, где 5 замечательных людей обсудят использование речевых технологий в бизнесе. Пока идет технический перерыв, вы можете, например, перекусить, потому что сюрприз, в кейтеринг-зоне еще осталась вкусная, замечательная еда. И также просьба, друзья, кто брал аппараты для синхронного перевода с английского на русский, пожалуйста, верните их там, где...